Andrew McCART, Rematch TV. The weighing is just done, but Eddie, before I start, I thought I was a trendy 40-year-old man. You're 44, you're 3 years older than me, but I mean, you take the biscuit.
Shout out to Everlast, one of our new partners, kitted me out today. Everlast, thank you very much. We're hanging in there, Andrew. The Barnett's hanging in there, there's Dress Sense is hanging in there, the 10k yesterday's done the legs. I'm a bit afraid of the fight day 5k tomorrow, but we'll see you there. And feeling good, mate. I love this sport, and I love this fight card, and I love tomorrow night. It's like everything that we want, the atmosphere we're going to get, you know, the jeopardy involved in the fights, of course the main event, but all throughout the card. Really good night of boxing tomorrow from Dublin.
I'm glad you mentioned the jeopardy there, because I woke up this morning and there was a lot of rumours going about my hotel saying that the show's in jeopardy, the show's going to be cancelled. But I know you would have been monitoring the events from last night, but was there any point where the show was in jeopardy?
No conversations at all. Look, this is a massive celebration for Ireland tomorrow night. Irish boxing, particularly Irish sport, an icon, really. So, you know, it's a very important event to take place. And yeah, all systems go. Obviously, already we had, you know, a huge amount of security presence in place. If that needs to be changed, of course, we'll speak to the authorities. But you know, we're following updates and all good to go tomorrow night.
Let's talk about then. Katy Taylor seems like she means business this week, and she's not done much media. I think that her mind's on one job and one job only, and that's to beat Chantel Cameron tomorrow night. So that being said, you've been around Katy Taylor, you probably spoke to more than what I have. Is she anxious? Is she nervous? How's her mood this week?
Yeah, I don't spend a great deal of time with Katy on fight weeks because she doesn't really want to talk to me. She's just like focused on the fight. I think this week particularly, she's been all about business. You know, no negotiation really in terms of doing extra media or stuff like that or obligations. And you know, I saw her just doing the live stream there. I think last time she probably learnt the lesson of, you know, being overexposed during fight week, but it kind of comes with the territory. You know, when you have that homecoming, that first time that you've seen that happen, you know, it's difficult to not take part in the media activities, open schools, give everybody your time. But she probably felt like it did drain her last time, and this time she's taking no chances. She wants to be 110%. I think this will be the performance of Katy Taylor's career tomorrow night, but I also think it'll be the performance of Chantel Cameron's career tomorrow night. I think we're going to get, from start to finish, an absolute thriller.
Is this make or break for Katy Taylor? If she loses tomorrow night, can she come back? I know she's got the belts done at lightweight, but can she come back from another defeat?
I feel like if you lose to arguably the pound for pound number one in the sport, jumping up a weight class, you shouldn't necessarily be criticised with the end of the career. We know she is in the back stages of her career. I think it really depends on physically how she looks in there. I feel like physically this camp, she's maybe the best she's ever been. So tomorrow night will tell us, but she's up against a fierce competitor, and Chantel Cameron's confidence this week has been on another level. You know, she sees nothing but victory tomorrow night, and it's going to be a tough ask for Katy Taylor.
I'm enjoying it. We'll talk about the card later on in the interview, the rest of the card, but I want to talk about the rematch clause with Joshua and Wallin. You've got critics now. I've read online a couple of people saying why, if Joshua's that confident, because a lot of fans, we're thinking about the Wilder fight in the future. So
it's nothing to do with if Joshua's confident. My job is to look at the commercial interests of my fighters. When Otto Wallin lands a payday, I don't know, 5-6 times bigger than he's ever landed before, by being picked from a group of 10 people, it's my job to look at the business interests. Anthony Joshua has never said to me once going into any fight, oh, do I have a rematch clause? You think he's thinking about losing this fight? No. But anybody going into this fight, Joseph Parker, you know, any big A side, it's traditional business. And I know fans are like, oh, it's like just like tough shit. I'm sorry, that's the business side of the sport. You protect your interests, right? And it's not my interest, it's the interest of my fighter. So if AJ was to get beat, yeah, because you put that in place, because you know what's going to happen. If that did happen, Otto Wallin thinks he should make 30 million for the rematch, and you don't get an opportunity to avenge the defeat. So don't hate the player, hate the game, quite honestly. And you know, like, to think that a fighter is concerned about losing and trying to put in a rematch clause, total bollocks. I put it in, as I put it in for a lot of fights where there's a big A side. And if sometimes that's why you have something called a mandatory challenger, where there is no rematch clause. It's up to the fighter. By the way, the fighter's got the choice to sign a rematch clause. They don't have to sign it. And if they do win, if Otto Wallin does win, he's, by the way, making a lot of money December 23rd, he's going to make a fortune for the rematch. He don't mind a rematch clause. He wants it. So yeah, just chill. Like it's just business. That's all.
Obviously, you as a promoter and being friends with Anthony Joshua as well as his promoter, you don't think this rematch clause is needed, though, do you? You think he's going in there, he's going to beat Otto Wallin?
Absolutely needed. All these rematch, like if we didn't have a rematch clause against Andy Ruiz, he would have never got his belts back. He would have never scored in. Now people say, yeah, but he doesn't have the belts back. It doesn't matter. He's fighting. AJ's still fighting for his career December 23rd. Every time he rolls the dice, he's fighting for his career. He's giving, even without the belt, giving fighters opportunities to make life-changing paydays by being selected for a shot. So, like I say, I put him in. Blame me. Don't blame anyone else.
I'm sure they will blame you, Eddie.
Well, you don't have to sign it. It wasn't even a big deal for them to sign it. They just understand what comes with the territory of fighting the top 3 biggest name in the world. So that's where we are.
I've seen Joseph Parker's here. He's down there. I mean, he's got a tough task slightly tough task against Deontay Wilder. But yeah, those two co-main events, as you want to call it. But where does Joshua sit on that? Is he going to be the main event above Wilder? Does that bother you? Is that concerning Joshua right now, where he sits on the card?
No, we know where we're sitting. It's we're contracted with that confirmed. We'll let Saudi Arabia and those guys announce the order of the fights, because I don't know what order they're all going to go in. There's so many great fights on the card, but yeah, we know obviously our position on the card.
What about the zone exclusive rights to Joshua? With that being sort of like a Frank 1BT, TNT thing, would we see Joshua on the zone?
Yeah, for sure. He's got an exclusive deal with the zone. There's been a lot of talks behind the scenes to find a solution that everybody's happy with, and I believe it won't be long now before that's announced.
Eddie Conor, Ben, obviously you said the public workout to me that whether it be Eubank Jr. on the 3rd, if not, we'll look somewhere else. He's called out Butch Ennis. Does that interest you? Yeah,
look, I think it's a very dangerous fight. He wants that fight. And look, where we're at the moment is the focus remains Eubank, but Conor's just said to us, look, he's taking a long time, so keep working, but show me the options as well, because we're going to pull the trigger soon. And he wants to fight Boots Ennis. I mean, I think probably the toughest fight at 147, but he wants to be thrown in the biggest fight possible. So if he can challenge Boots Ennis for the world title, he's all over it. Obviously, yeah, of course, but it's a massive fight. But listen, financially, the biggest fight out there for him and the biggest fight for British boxing is the Eubank fight. But we can't just rely on Eubank taking that fight. So we carry on, but we also work behind the scenes for alternative options, because we are 9 or 10 weeks away now.
Eddie, I'm baffled at how calm I managed to ask you this yesterday, but probably the biggest news in boxing a couple of days ago was Tony Bellew entering I'm a Celebrity now. Was he not meant to be here working? What's going on?
Yeah, he just all of a sudden, because in these things you can't tell people you're going in, anyone, right? So all of a sudden, it was a couple of weeks ago, he was like, I'm not going to be available for Dublin and Belfast. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, you're every show? No, yeah, I'm not going to be around for those 2 shows. I'm like, anyway, so I just got some other, I thought, I didn't even question him at the time, but I thought, that's strange. I was thinking it might be a film or something like that. And when I saw him in Newcastle, I said, because it had already leaked, I went, you're going on I'm Celebrity. I don't think he'd actually done the deal there. And obviously, once he had, then he was on the plane. And yeah, look, good luck to him. I think...
Do you think he'll survive all them bugs and the skydiving and all that stuff?
I think he'll be hilarious. I really do. And you know how I feel about Tony. I think he's a top man. And I think that will come across in the jungle. Genuine geezer. And I'm going to look forward to him suffering over the next couple of weeks.
Eddie, I'm going to ask, would you do it? I mean, you probably don't have the time for it, but they did.
They came on to me to do it about 3 months ago. And it's just time. Like, I would have missed this. I would have missed Belfast. I would have missed Haney Prograis. Because I would have won the whole thing as well, so I would have had to stay in.
I'll tell you what, Eddie, I would have racked up probably a £200 phone bill just to vote you to do all the tasks.
Yeah, I would have done it. No, but I don't know, maybe something for the future, but no time at the moment.
Eddie, the 5K tomorrow, I said to you in Newcastle, one last one before I wrap this up, because I know there's plenty more for you. I said to you in Newcastle, you'll never beat me at another 5K, and the fact that your legs are sore after that 10K, I've got hope here.
I've got absolutely no chance of beating you tomorrow. I can see the look in your face. You ain't trained all week. You've been prepping for this 5K. I'm going to have a leisurely one tomorrow, and we were at a running track, which I actually quite like.
As long as I'm ahead of you, I'm happy. Eddie, thank you as always, big man, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you.